Hey guys, welcome back to F1 Podcast. Well, we're going to talk in this video about some things that have been happening off circuit, Max, and there's always plenty of that going on.
It sure is, mate.
And we've given a little bit of airtime to the McLaren liargate, whatever we want to call it, recently, and so we just wanted to say that, you know, about the 3-race suspension and give our thoughts about that. We were talking the other video, Max, about a fine. They didn't get a fine, they got their suspended 3-race ban. What do you think?
Look, I think for continuity in Formula One, I think common sense prevailed, and they were given a slap on the wrist. You know, the 3-race suspended ban. You know, what are you going to do? I mean, we're in the midst of a global financial crisis at the moment, and very interesting that
the GFC,
but. And very interesting that, you know, there's been the old, if we're slapped over the wrist too hard, we might consider our involvement in Formula One in the future type talk that both Ferrari and McLaren have been guilty of, I guess, came to the fore. Look, okay, slap on the wrist, they lied, that was proven, there was a couple of sacrificial lambs. And let's get on to the racing.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's disappointing that this sort of thing had to go before the World Motorsport Council, but you know, I guess we have to be seen to be doing the right thing and all that sort of thing. And I've got no argument with that, but it's just another thing that Formula One doesn't need. And okay, a 3-race suspended ban. I guess Martin Whitmarsh, you know, going there, you know, lying down on the floor and saying, "Hey, I'm sorry," you know, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Took a man to do it, because he was the only one that was basically, you know, prepared to put his ass on the line for that, and he was thinking bigger picture, and I admire the guy's caliber, the guts and the caliber of the individual to say, "No, I'll take this one on my own," and
yeah.
You know.
I think you're right, mate. We were talking last time about a fine, and a fine doesn't affect the championship, and nor does a 3-race suspended ban. So I'm glad that they didn't actually affect the championship.
Well, I was also talking constructors' points.
Yes,
So
you were.
I was like, well, you know, there's a distinct possibility, and I'm glad I've been proven wrong, which is certainly not the first time, and most certainly won't be the last time I've been proven wrong.
Yeah.
Stop reminding me, all you guys. But I'm glad they weren't, you know, in this instance, docked any points, but a bit of a slap on the wrist, and can we all go racing, please? Yeah,
a lot of the banter on the internet as well was saying it was a light fine. They got off lightly, and I actually don't think that they did, because the FIA aren't stupid. They don't want to affect the championship necessarily. So they've basically said to McLaren, I think, if you fuck up again, you're going to be in big trouble. But right now we're just going to, you know, as you said, Max, Martin Whitmarsh, you know, went there cap in hand and said,
sacrificial lamb.
Please don't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they lied. We all know that. And now, like you said, mate, let's get on with the racing and, you know, put this behind us, basically.
And I'm looking forward to all you Ferrari fans out there turning around and saying how biased the FIA are towards McLaren, and how it's a conspiracy and this is all bullshit.
Bring it
and
on,
all that
guys.
sort of thing.
Bring it on.
Blah.
Bring it on.
Whatever. Look, can we just get back to the racing, okay?
Alright, Max, before we get on to the racing, there's also been a heap of talk about, in the last few weeks, about the FIA introducing this budget cap. It was initially £30 million, they moved it to £40 million, and what they're creating, as far as I can see, is a 2-tier F1 World Championship, where the guys with the money get massive technical restrictions put on them. They can spend as much as they like, but technically they're restricted, but if you do adhere to the £40 million, then you get more technical freedom. And you know, I've got a lot to say on this, Max, but the first thing I would say is I don't like a 2-tier system. It reminds me of Le Mans, where you've got these big chunky cars doing fantastic speeds, overtaking these other cars like they're going standing still. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen in Formula One, but that 2-tier system it really annoys me. And I think, you know, the old school of Formula One loves technical freedom. They love the fact that you can develop the car technically, that you can do what you like with the car. And so, you know, a Renault, for example, might have potloads of money, or Ferrari, McLaren or whatever, but they lose that technical freedom. I don't like it, mate.
Oh, man, I'm trying to find an argument with what you just said. This whole two-tiered bullshit, as far as I'm concerned, is the only way I can call it, is just simply not on. You can either afford Formula One or you can't. And to all, you know, and I dare say there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there that say, well, hang on a minute, Max, we're in a GFC or a global financial crisis and all that sort of thing. Yeah, well, Formula One's been in this sort of shit state in the past, right? I mean, Formula One is a global economic sport. We all know that. I mean, I'm not telling you F1 nuts anything different. But I tell you what, it's going to be a pretty sad day for me when I turn on my television and I see a couple of teams running around on a grid that, oh, that's right, these guys have got the technical freedom that they want. Oh, and that's right, but these guys that have got the amount of cash have to operate within a window of technical freedom that's been given to them because they've got extra cash. To me, Formula One was always about being the best of the best. And if you can't afford to compete in Formula One, see ya.
Yeah.
Sayonara. And I know that sounds brutal, and I know that sounds horrible, and I know it sounds terrible. But the simple fact of the matter remains, Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport, alright? And it always has been. I don't think I'm preaching, if anything, I'm preaching to the converted. But to turn around and have this sort of lackadaisical approach of, oh, well, you know, you can be a top tier team and you can be a bottom tier team, providing you know, you take these concessions or you've got this cash.
Yeah.
To me, is just bullshit. I don't want to see, and I'm loath to say it, our sport screwed around like this. To me, it should always be a level playing field. This is what it takes to compete in Formula One. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do.
Yeah, and everyone has the same rules.
If you can't conform to that, fuck off.
Yeah, everyone has the same rules, and whether there's a cap or whatever, but they're all competing by the same rules. And what I do like about this system is that it is inviting. You know, there's been conversations about obviously US F1 or US GPE now, Super Aguri, Lola, all these other. You know, I like the fact that there's other people.
No argument there.
But then you're going to get some of the manufacturers who think, oh, you know, bugger it. You know, I'll spend £40 million. I'm currently spending $500 million. I'll still compete in Formula One. I'll still get my exposure. I'll still be at the races, but I'll spend, you know, 1/5 or something of my current budget. I don't like that. I agree, Max. It should be, you know, it should be the same for everyone.
Yeah, and look, fair enough. Okay, look, are we making decisions on the fly here? Okay, admittedly, the last couple of years have been tough for the global economic crisis, and we all know that Formula One, you know, is primarily dependent on the obscene amounts of cash that are thrown at it. No argument there. Okay, I'm absolutely no argument there. But what happens in 3-4 years' time? Potentially, and I don't have a crystal ball. I have crystal balls, but not a crystal ball. When everything's A-OK again, and the market's going like that, does that mean the FIA turn around and say, well, fuck the cap, you've got to have at least this amount of 100 million, 200 million to compete in our sport, because otherwise, you've got nothing on us anymore. Does that happen? I mean, we're making, to me, and I can understand...
Short-term decisions?
Fiscally, I can understand why they're doing it in a downturn. No argument there. But let's not jump the fucking gun here. Things are going to get better. I mean, you know, we're both in finance. Things are going to... They work on a cycle. They're going to improve again. Things are going to get better. Does that mean we get another set of rules in a couple of years?
Yeah.
And I dare say the answer to that is yes, we bloody do, because the FIA want to make more money and get more bang for their buck.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't like the two-tier system.
No 2 tiers. Alright guys, we've got more videos coming, so we'll see you soon for the next one.
Alright, bye.
Bye.